This is, that communicator, it's bloody obvious really, but communicator infers, or at least in fact states, create community. And I think part of doing that might mean a sort of an ability to extremely feel, realise and express emotions. I'm also, sometimes I see how people around me are reacting to my moods and I feel, oh fucking hell, I'm intense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With me, it sort of goes, 10 minutes later, I'm all right now.
I ruin parties. And it took me a long time to for a long time, the biggest misunderstanding I had about myself was that I was like an easy person. Yeah. Like, I'd be like, I go with the flow. It's like, whatever the opposite of going with the flow is, like when I was at summer camp, to name it again, I remember like,
stem, resist the flow, damn the flow, reverse the flow.
Oh, I remember like telling these camp counselors who were like drinking a beer by a fire at night, being like, I just want to let you guys know that like we're only 12 and for our counselors to be drinking like makes me feel really uncomfortable, especially because one of my parents is a recovered alcoholic, so do what you want with that information. Like, that kind of thing. And, like, literally the camp counselors were like, you suck. Like, and I remember telling my dad, and he was like, you suck. Just let them drink a beer. Like, I can't let anyone do anything. And now I'm better but now instead of trying to go with the flow, I remove myself from the flow. Like, I know the situations not to put myself in anymore because I don't want to ruin the party. I just don't want to go to the party.
Yeah, you mustn't go, Lena. You'll ruin them. They're not here.
Do you like parties? No.
I like it. Like knowing that there's a party on the horizon, it functions in my mind like a dreadful catharsis. I'm like undoing myself now. What am I going to say? Imagine what conversations I'm going to have. You know, like... But it's not because it's not because I think I'm superior to those places. It's that I get caught in the traction beams of glamour, other people's opinions. These things, I'm very, very sensitive to them. I've found this is why for me the 12-step model works well for me, because it explicitly states you need a spiritual awakening, Russell. You need a change of perspective. Yeah. Because for me, I get very, very attached to things. I, like you, am not a go with the flow type. I have that tattooed in Sanskrit on my arm.
It says go with the flow?
That says go with the flow in Sanskrit.
Oh, it's beautiful.
In fact, it says there is only the flow. When I was married to dear Katie, we both got this done, and before we went to India, because I was told when you go to India, you got to get with that flow, because India will chew you up and spit you out if you try to impose your Western, we're doing it this way.
Well, guess what I did? I went to India with my mom, and then 9 days into our 17-day trip, while she was at a market, I called my assistant at the time. I was 26, and I was like, get me on the nearest plane. I have to come home. I am bleeding out of every hole in my body, and you've got to get me out of here. And then she got me on a flight. I thought it was in Jaipur, but it was in Jodhpur, so I fully went to the wrong city, in the back of somebody's car that had a hole in it to the ground. And then literally I remember, and I can't tell if I've revised these two memories. One is that I climbed over a pile of rubble to get to an ATM machine in these heels, and if anyone had looked, they just would have been like, that lady sucks. And then got back in the car with all my cash, and we were driving to the other airport. And I looked out the window, and there was a pit of mud, and a cow came fully out of it. It wasn't even the cow was hanging half in mud. It was the cow had been fully submerged and came out and looked at me. And I was in a Terry Gilliam movie. I was this is the craziest thing. And then of course, when I said anything about that, I got home, and the next day got interviewed for a Rolling Stone profile, and was I just left India. I hated it there. And then literally for a while, my sibling was dating an Indian girl, and was I didn't want to tell her your last name because I was embarrassed. My last name, because I was embarrassed. And then when she finally did, she was oh yeah, we know here that she said India sucks, and she hated it. But I didn't hate it. I just didn't go with the flow.
Yeah, India, it wants you to really... You've got to, surrender to the powerful flow of India.
Yeah, I don't... I hate sand. I hate beaches. I hate the sun. I hate friendship. I hate...
Human warmth, compassion, moments of transient joy.
None of it.
Glint
I'll
on
have
the cheek
none of it.
of a golden child. Thanks for watching this podcast and going all the way to the end of it. Would you so kind as to click the bell? Might not be there, could be over there. And subscribing, so that we can infiltrate your serenity and peace of mind with jangling bells and buzzes. Thank you.